I'm at Armatage. I was just passing by. I'm 3 miles from Rugeley. I'd just been on a training course and I thought I'll take another look. Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. A video dedicated to the gentle life on a channel where nothing exciting ever happens. But come on, I hear you say. There must be some sort of excitement. Well, there usually is, but we like to try and play it down a little bit here, and we choose not to let it bother us because there's so much to see. Maybe we might have the odd laugh where we tend to moor up. But do me a favour, will you? Hit that bell for notifications of future videos. It really does help. Plus, by hitting that bell, you'll have notifications of the odd cruise, and you'll also have notifications of that thing I really enjoy doing, checking out the local infrastructure. And if you could, please like this video, share this video, or even subscribe to the channel. It's completely free to do that. And so, it's another interesting and relaxing walk without the dogs. Well, I was on a training course in Lichfield and I thought, you know what, this is Armatage. I pulled over. I thought, I'm going to take another look. And who was it who constructed the Trent and Mersey Canal? Well, he didn't do it on his own, but it was the idea of the very brilliant James Brindley. And it's typical. Although it's showing plenty of detail, the site information board is unfortunately bleached out. Well, I've moseyed on over to the other side of the canal, and what we got there on the offside? Well, we've got the Plum Pudding Public House, which is frequented by the people of Armatage and boaters alike, and is open. I'm pondering whether to walk in from the east side, and as I do, I'm facing their dreaded precast units which I work with. And if you look low down, and this is one of the reasons I'm here, you can actually see the brickwork of the old tunnel. It gives you some perspective on where it actually was. Constructed in 1770 or thereabouts, during the development of the Trent and Mersey Canal. There isn't any historical photographs or any construction of it, but apparently it was one of the first and one of the earliest constructions. The waterway was designed in 1766 by Brindley, who mapped out the route with more than 70 locks and 5 tunnels. The engineers saw the canal as being part of a network linking the 4 great rivers of England: the Mersey, the River Trent, the River Severn, and of course the River Thames. You're not going to believe this as well. There was a brief summary in a video that I watched the other day about the very subject I'm talking about here. Just my luck, really. And just before I get accused of plagiarism, the canal was championed by Stoke-on-Trent potter and entrepreneur Joseph Wedgwood. Now, Wedgwood believed his iron pottery was fragile and could easily be damaged when it was moved on the often rough and uneven roads of the day. Wedgwood believed that his goods were more likely to be delivered in one piece if they were transported on the water. What a novel idea, and how it's benefited all of us today. Fantastic. Opening in 1777, and Armatage Tunnel being one of the earliest constructions around about 1770. The canal was the biggest ever civil engineering project England had ever seen at the time, a major route for trade on its day. The canal is seen as playing a key part in the Industrial Revolution. Wow, what a project. As well as the pottery, the canal was used to carry iron, coal, timber and other raw materials for industries all around the country. Brindley did not live to see his canal finished, as he died in 1772. And as you've no doubt gathered, I've moved on to Fradley Junction, a little bit further up, or is it down the canal? It doesn't really matter. It's all cruising, but it takes a little bit longer on the boat than it does in the car. I'm going to appreciate the grounds around the junction and the locks themselves. And look what we've got here, a boat arriving just as I turned up. What could be nicer? I know, I saw the sign too. The Laughing Duck Canalside Cafe. Always there and always welcomed for a slap-up meal. Or a tea or a coffee. And don't you just love that sound? A little bit on from the Coventry Canal, as we go down the flight, looking down towards Burton-on-Trent, Derby, Nottingham. The water flow, the consistency of a boat going through a lock. It never gets dull, it never gets boring, particularly on days such as these. And while those designers, those engineers, those navvies originally conceived these canals for trade, little did they know that we would be enjoying them purely for leisure. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, the Trent and Mersey Canal set early standards for canal design in the UK. Brindley made the waterway relatively narrow. The locks were 7 feet 6 inches, 2.29 metres in width. Now, the narrow width may have been dictated by the fact he could only build the Castle Tunnel, part of the canal route, to take 7 foot, 2.1 metre wide boats. Okay, you narrowboat aficionados, you denizens of the infrastructure, did you know the UK's first boat lift was built on the Cheshire stretch of the Trent and Mersey in 1875? The Anderton lift. It lowers boats from the canal onto the River Weaver. It was the only boat lift of its kind in the UK until 2002, where we saw the construction of the Falkirk Wheel in Scotland. Looking back on the history of the canal is one thing, but you know what? Here at Fradley Junction, if you blink, you will miss it. This nature reserve is truly remarkable. Now, the Trent and Mersey Canal Company built Fradley Pool to store water for their canal. It was also a stock pool where roach and other fish were kept before putting them into the canal. Now, of course, it's a nature reserve for all of us to appreciate. Essentially a reservoir, today the nature reserve is a peaceful oasis full of wildlife including herons, coots, moorhens and more. Follow the footpaths around the pool to enjoy timber sculptures, picnic sites and a broad walk with a delightful view over the water. Watch the birds from the thatched hide and look out for water creatures at the pond dipping platforms. There you can see, or maybe not, it is pretty quiet today. Oh, but look, I think I'm being watched, or am I being stalked? Ugh. Oh, it's just one of the many sculptures you'll find at the nature reserve. So what did I do? I did what it said. Press to hear more about Fradley Pool. Didn't work. There's a little solar panel on the back which suggests it's run off solar, but I checked out all the other ones and they don't work either. Never mind, eh? Plenty of information here though. Look at these boards. Absolutely bogged down in detail. Brilliant. And now almost completely relaxed and totally arrested. What difference did the canal actually make? Well, the Trent and Mersey Canal made it possible for businesses to move raw materials and other goods around the UK in large volumes. This made it easier to mass produce consumer goods. The waterways contributed to industrial growth across the country. It became a crucial link between canal systems in the north and in the south. And in conclusion, and a quick snapshot, what did the project actually achieve? Well, it connected communities, as I've just said. This new canal was a crucial link between canals in the north and south. The canal undoubtedly contributed to the Industrial Revolution. So now I'm going to drop out of video mode and enjoy the rest of my walk. Just look at this. It's infectious. And when it's blue days like this, what are you going to do? You're just going to drive by. There's something compelling. Ooh, another one of those pesky boards that don't work. There's plenty of information on them though. Look at that. It details the importance of the canal system. It details how the water here at Fradley is controlled and how it contributes to the Coventry Canal just ahead of us. But you know, for me, a lot of it is the old brickwork. How long must it have taken to have done this? They say that the whole of the Trent and Mersey Canal was constructed within 11 years. I find that hard to believe, but you know, those Victorians, those navvies, they could move some earth with just hand tools, and primitive ones too. Shovels, bars, stamping with their feet and using cattle. It's incredible. But it's here, and it's still here, and it's thanks to them. And just look at this old rail. All of these copers beveled by time. This is what I find interesting. All the ironmongery that's no longer in use, but it's still there. The last vestiges for us to enjoy. And for me, and people like me, to photograph it, to put their own stamp on it, and to, more to the point, simply appreciate and enjoy it. So I, like many people who are watching this video, am a child of the 60s, and I appreciate the old cobblestones, as I was raised in a terraced house in Nottingham back in the 1960s and 70s. That's all there was, cobbled pavements and roads. I'm almost done now. The sun is setting, the golden hour is receding, and it's another walk back down to the junction and to this public house, which is frequented by loads of people. It's always busy, but you know what, lo and behold, for this video it must simply be the time of day, because it isn't that busy at the moment. And looking at the time, it's around about 3:45 in the evening. You can understand that people will still be at work, but you can guarantee later on in the evening, from around 6 o'clock onwards, this place is going to be absolutely buzzing. Because this part of the canal system, and indeed the whole of the canal system, is perhaps one of the busiest. Fradley Junction is considered to be the busiest junction on the system, and the Swan pub in its prime location seems to exemplify that. And just look at that. It's special. And with the backdrop of the setting sun, and another one of those information boards, quite useful, but the button doesn't work, and with its braille, there's a lot of consideration here. CRT should be applauded for this. I'm now looking fondly at the swing bridge on the Coventry Canal, as I've just come down from the Ashby Canal recently and onto the Trent and Mersey. I'm just reflecting on the last few years. While, because I was a resident of both the Coventry and the Ashby Canal, and as I see the couple up there, they've just used the service point for water. They now seem to be struggling for a space. And there isn't a boat coming through. I just thought, for the purpose of this video and my recent cruise down the Coventry and onto the Trent and Mersey, I just added a little bit of historic footage here. This is earlier on in the year, back end of August 2023. I never thought that I would come off this canal, but you know, that's life. There they go, look. Looking for a mooring spot, possibly for the night, maybe for the next 14 days. So, back on the TNM along the towpath there off the Coventry Canal. That's Fradley Junction. And as I walk down now past the Laughing Duck Canalside Cafe, I look over at all these moored boats. Oh God, look at these. This is my boat, by the way. This is just from a few months ago, as I cruise down. The Rotherham Group again. Looks like that vessel's listing a little bit. But it's got everything you need down here. It's got the service points for Elsan, rubbish points. It's also got the Canal and River Trust office, which is open. I don't think it's 7 days a week. I'm going to be nipping around the corner in this video in a second, so we might see the opening times on that. Those bug hotels are everywhere on the Trent and Mersey, by the way. No, it's never really open, but there are opening times on there, so you could, if you are coming down here, check that out. The cath's just closing. It's always busy down here. Does everything, ice creams. Loads more information on this access board. Pause the video for more. It tells you everything. There's not one point as you walk round the whole of the junction where there isn't information to remind you where you are, and obviously the great history of not just the canal here, not just the junction, but the fantastic nature reserve which was once a reservoir for the canal, and indeed still is. I'm going back up here now to admire this working boat. I love these working boats. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope to see you all again in the next video. Thanks for watching. And did I get back in time to take the dogs for a walk while it was still daylight? Well, no, but this is from the previous day. I just love them. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you did this with your favourite boating channel too, I'm sure they'd appreciate it just as much as I do.